I'm too excited right now. Greetings and salutation as always, man. Thank you for tuning in to the Logic Lounge with Fleazy Jones. That's me. Episode 77. Damn. Brought to you, of course, by my brother Block Legend 7. Man, listen, I'm so geek right now. Usually I have a like a different type of introduction with the shows and the guests. I cannot honestly explain the excitement that I have right now for tonight because not only do I get to have a conversation with what I would consider the epitome of black excellence. I am a former student to this one. This is my former African American Studies professor. I cannot explain my excitement right now. I don't even want to get into the accolades. I don't even want to get into points. I just have to bring her up here, and I have to take this opportunity because this is huge. This is one of my educators. I don't even want to really go past that until the interview. This is huge. And that is none other than Red Summer, man. If you don't know, you're about to find out. I'm not even going to waste no time. Come up here, Red. I need you to talk it as they come in. Talk it like you're walking.
For one, for one, you have a cheat code to anybody that comes in and see the nostalgia in my face and the excitement. I I am asking right now for a pass at the beginning of this show because this is one of my educators. I'm holding back emotions right now because when you said yes, I went to find a table to go flip over. There was no reason for it other than just I needed to express the excitement, like, yo, Miss Summer, to even be able to call you Red Summer. This is, I can't, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know you are busy. Time is something that you don't have much of because you spread yourself to so many people. I cannot express my excitement, my gratitude today. Thank you, Red Summer, for coming to the lounge tonight. How are you?
I am amazing. And I just want you to know that I am equally as excited to have been invited. And I said earlier to a middle college scholar that, oh, yes, it's one of my former scholars. And he corrected me and he said, it's one of your forever scholars. And I
Ooh,
said, yes, you are right.
I stand
um,
correct.
Exactly. And so just to be able to still have this beautiful connection all these years later, I'm just excited.
I'm gonna get right into it. If that didn't blow you guys' mind thus far, like I cannot even listen. Look, I ain't come shorthanded. You don't come to Miss Summer shorthanded. Mm-mm. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the recent post.
Okay. Which
I'm
one?
already look. I got boulders on my back with. Oh man, she alumni Delta royalty, 25 years, all these accolades. Well, I'm looking up chief curator. I'm like, whoa, that's what they do. This and now. Not only are you what I would call just a master educator, you're going back in. You're putting your jersey back on.
Absolutely. So our collective principal, Miss Helen Hawkins, who is a phenomenal ancestor that we have on our side, guiding us always. She instilled in us that we were lifelong learners. There is, it in the way that we were raised and in the school that we came from. Like we wanted to give, our achievements to our mama and to Miss Hawkins,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
This is one thing that was still left outstanding, that I had not had an opportunity to accomplish while she was here. And so it's important to me to still to understand that a delay is never a denial. If it's in my heart and my spirit, if it's something that I want to do, then the path is already being prepared for me to do that. And so the things just worked out right now. Like it's the right time and the right place to make it happen. So I will be starting my PhD program at Howard University in the fall.
You heard. I don't have a mic to drop, but just imagine that's a mic that this, this is what I'm saying. Like I am a forever scholar of yours. And when I seen that, I was already amazed at the fact that I feel like I have a cheat, right?
Mm.
I've always known you've had a major love for hip hop,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, okay, I'm already blown away at this. Like, yo, she's in DC doing this. I want to talk about this. And then to know that you're just as stubborn as you always been to the greatest degree ever.
Yeah.
When I tell you I've learned part of my no quit from you. I
Mm.
mean that I didn't know stubborn had a beauty. That
Mm.
African
Mm-hmm.
American studies. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to Suni Ali. Uh,
Yes, I should.
so to see that, I had a laugh. I had a cry. I had so many emotions because I'm like, oh my God, some things never change.
Yeah.
Some things never change because you have juggled so many hats. And this is just me knowing what I know. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much so
Mm-hmm.
man, kudos to you. Shots out. I can't wait to see. So, okay, we're going for the PhD.
Mm-hmm.
I missed in the reel because I wanted to make sure I was prepared. What are we getting the PhD for?
Yeah, so I'm in the communications and cultural studies department. So I have a master's in museum studies, which is how I got connected with the Hip Hop Museum at the ground level, like to be able to be the founding chief curator, which means that like I was there to build out all of the first exhibits, and at this point, all of the exhibits that we've had so far since we opened in 2019. And so I just wanted to take that further and be able to make sure that as hip hop is becoming, um, what's the best way to say it? A
I,
respected form of scholarship, right?
I
Because
like that.
we
Yeah.
have a lot of schools, even some of the like Ivy League schools, they already have hip hop departments. They already have professors who are studying and teaching hip hop. Lupe Fiasco was
Shots
at
out.
MIT, right? And
Yeah.
so it it's a shame that our culture has to be accepted by the dominant culture
Yeah.
first in order for it to be deemed respectable for us to study. But here we are. I'm just excited to be coming in on the ground floor as much as it is because there's already phenomenal professors, Black professors around the country who are teaching hip hop and delving into hip hop and using hip hop in their classrooms and their pedagogy. So I won't even try to say that I'm the first in that area.
Right.
I am learning from some phenomenal artists and thinkers and scholars, A.D. Carson, Chris Emden, right? So many people, Dr. Cuts, like who are just doing their thing in this industry. And then there are also other scholars who are not professors, right? So if you follow Manny Faces, Tim Jones, right? These are people who I admire and respect their scholarship, right?
Yeah.
Jay Quan, he is a hip hop historian. He is a scholar. And so I just want to make sure that I am capturing these stories, saying these names in academia so that the work that they've already been doing is not in vain and it doesn't like disappear, right? this year I have an opportunity to write a chapter in a textbook. So
Hold
I'm
on.
definitely putting in
I don't have a
everybody that
zoom
I
in.
know.
I, I had to self zoom in on that. Whoa.
I'm putting in everybody that I know. Like I'm putting all my people on. Everybody who
What?
gets the textbook is gonna have to see right that we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is here. You know the thing about it? I believe this is a true if you know, you know. I'm gonna say it if you don't, Summer. Hip hop is becoming, it's dying. It's
Mm.
dying when it comes to the new age. And you know me on a personal level. Some
Hmm.
things have not changed, like
Yes.
an iPhone of greens apparently. I I respect anyone's grind. I
Hmm.
respect the hustle. I'm okay with the new age, but when it comes to hip hop and how I remember it, how I was taught about it, it's like it's dying. So to see that life still being pumped into it
Hmm.
is crazy. So I gotta know before I even know because I have to know that journey, how you got
Hmm.
there. But
Yeah.
before I get there, because this is the scholar talking, because I know one name. Please tell me the origin of Red Summer.
Okay, so Red Summer is actually the name of a race riot that started in Chicago in 1919. It started in Chicago because there was a 14-year-old boy who was swimming in Lake Michigan. I think it was at 63rd Street Beach, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And he floated to the white side of the beach.
Mm.
And you know how when anytime when you've gone to the beach, you go out and when you come back, you're not like it's not a straight line. You don't come back to the sand right where you went out. You're always
Yeah.
way further than you anticipated being. And so it created an uproar and people threw rocks at him and harmed him. And so this was a place where it was like not never again, like we're not going for this anymore. And the black people in Chicago stood up and they fought for themselves. And there's a lot of what we say contested stories behind what actually happened. But when I was teaching there at the middle college, I had students go into the actual the Negro
Yeah.
newspapers from that time, and so we went all the way back in the microfiche, and we studied what actually was happening from the Negro news as opposed to the predominant news at the time. And so we were finding out these really abandoned stories about what was happening in 1919 in Chicago and across the country. And the students said that the connection that they made was that the Harlem Renaissance, the artistic renaissance that was happening in Chicago and in Harlem and in other places in Washington D.C., other places during the 20s was inspired by what had happened that summer in 1919. And
Oh
so
wow.
if we think about, historically how tragic times are happening, things are happening in society, and that impacts the artists to make art to respond to it. So we have Claude McKay, If We Must Die, and other poets, other writers, other not filmmakers, but playwrights who are in that time who are making art, making music, making jazz songs in response to what had been happening in society. And so it sparked this artistic renaissance in the people. My scholar said, well, that's what you do. You make us take the hard, horrible things that are happening in our lives and make something from it, make something beautiful from that pain. And so they gave me the name Red Summer and I kept it.
You were dean.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes sense. I have to second, third, and fourth that because as I said earlier, I have some of my no quit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? One thing about it, um, where we come from, and I'm just gonna say it, y'all. Red Summer has when I say caught me, Red Summer, no, it ain't really too much I could put past her. But
Hmm.
one thing I remember, you never jumped unless my studies were affected. I was never
Hmm.
judged.
Yeah.
I learned that at a early age through you, because anybody that came to the middle college, some stories were okay, meaning they just chose to come there. A lot of us had no choice, and
Hmm.
that was our last resort for us. So we're coming into this place with these negative thoughts, and it's like that's the best time. I love school all over again. I love
Hmm.
school all over again with that respect, because Red Summer don't play.
Yeah. I think what people forget about for that experience for me is that the middle college saved my life. I was talking to a friend of mine from undergrad today, and actually we went to Curie together, and we have been friends all this time. And I said, well, wait a minute, I didn't graduate from Curie. I graduated from Olive Harvey.
Yeah,
Like, I got kicked out of Curie. And he was like, how you get kicked? What the hell was you doing, gang bang? And I was like, they
right,
did say it was mob activity. I was just
right,
say that.
right.
And they was putting black kids out of Curie at the time for whatever we did. So I was
Yeah,
definitely one of those. And so when you're in a situation where you have no choice, right? You have no fallback plan. Like, I was not planning on not graduating from high school. Then I find out about the middle college, and they gave me that thing that I went away to college with and was able to be successful with. And I had to come back after I graduated with that, like, no, seriously, like, this is the thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
this works.
yeah.
I got more from the middle college in 1 year than I got in the whole previous 11 years of being in school.
I think that's a lot of our stories. That's a lot of
Yeah.
our stories. But you have a different vest that you wear, because I only know of the students from your story. I walked
Mm,
in as a student, a scholar to you.
yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
and
That's
so
crazy.
this is Teacher Appreciation Week right now. And so I spent my time yesterday on the Hip Hop Ed call saying the name of Paulette Pennington Jones. She was my English teacher at the middle college. Her husband, Leroy Jones, was
Brotherhood.
there. J. Roy Jones, that's what it was. J. Roy.
Yeah, yeah,
He was there and was a teacher at the middle college as well. And he taught manhood and brotherhood. And being at a school that had those types of classes was key to changing the trajectory of the lives of the people that came into that space. When I was Miss Jones's student, she gave me Nikki Giovanni.
mm,
And I have Nikki Giovanni for the rest of my life, right? Because she gave that to me. She gave me Toni Morrison, right?
yeah,
And so she raised the standards, raised the stakes of what was accessible to me through academia. Of course, we're bored with school. Of course, we're sick of it, because all of it's bullshit and none of it is reflective of us and our community and our brilliance and our genius. And none of those people in the book sounded like us and looked like us and acted like us. And so, of course, we were done with that, right? And so when you come to the middle college and they place you in the seat of excellence, and they call you scholar, and they show you the brilliance of your people, and it's cool to be like, oh, we came from kings and queens. We came from more than
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Kings and queens is down here with it. What we were really doing is so far above kings and queens. We were reading the stars. We could navigate the planet from the position of, come on, man. Like, you can, a king could never,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
teaching my students to like, okay, we have to look at the migration patterns of where the people who were captured on the continent were brought to is because of the agriculture that they were used to, that they knew how to manage and navigate. And so if you had people who were coming from Sierra Leone, you got to take them to South Carolina because that is the place on this continent that has a similar agriculture. This is not a trick. It's not haphazard. This is by design, right? And so these are the types of things that were taken out of the story that when you put them back, even just a little bit, every student who has access to that information is empowered forever.
So that, you know what, you're bouncing my questions, but the fact that you said that, I have got to ask now, because I just told you what I took from you
Mm-hmm.
as an educator. Other than knowledge itself, which you were always about 100%, what is something you want a student, a scholar, to take from you once they leave?
So a lot of times we go to school and we learn what to think, right? What to believe in. We learn the story that is packaged and given to us. I teach how to think. I
Ooh,
teach that when you hear something and your spirit says, that don't sound right, challenge me. If I say the sky is green and you prove me wrong, right?
yeah,
And so we would sit down and we would have court, like we would battle, like I would change my whole lesson in the middle of it if it was necessary, because somebody said something that was so good. We got to get into that. All right, pause the rest of the lesson. Because Fleazy said this thing and we got to stop. We got to look this up. We got to
yeah,
answer this question right
yeah,
now. Right.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember one time I was teaching a class with Trujillo, and we were supposed to be talking about school desegregation. That's what the lesson was. School desegregation. So we're talking about Bull Connor and the Little Rock, not like we're talking about that whole thing. And so I said something like, well, you know, Arkansas is right by Louisiana. And everybody's eyes kind of glassed over. They didn't really know where the states were.
Yeah.
Dropped the whole lesson. We are going to make a map of the United States across the whole back wall. You are going to have to, in order to make your state, find out who are all of your border states, and you all will have to work together to make your states fit, right, with
Yeah.
each other. So they had to not only know the information about the state, because everybody got to do two, the states that they were doing. They have to know who is on the north, south, east, west.
You got to know your
What
neighbors. You
their
got to know.
borders
Yeah.
together, right, so
Yeah.
that they fit. Scale, right? We completely changed the concept that we were working on when we realized that students were not ready for that, because they didn't have a concept of what were northern states, what were southern states, like what was the difference politically, geographically, what is the weather like, right?
Yeah. Right.
In different states, like what's the trajectory, who has mountains, like who has water coming through. Like we stopped and we went so deep into the geography of the United States. I still have students 30 years later say, I'll never forget that Arkansas is next to Mississippi. I'm like,
You challenged them, and it became second nature.
yeah.
It became second nature. I
But
wouldn't
then you're
know what a
actually learning.
yeah, yeah. And these are things that actually, I'm telling you, man, I didn't being kicked. I hate to say this, being kicked out of Chicago public schools might have been the best thing that happened to me as well. You know what I mean? I landed on OHMC, and I mean I move a certain way because of that place.
Mm-hmm.
Because people there, the I call them educators. Like I don't think professors is enough. I
Mm.
just don't. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's enough because I was I used to go with Dre to the Chiefs house. I
Yeah.
still drive past there
Mm.
and I get a little choked up just looking
Yeah.
over. I used to in the winter with Dre Cunningham snow blow this one
Mm-hmm.
driveway, all this, mind you, with a snow blower, easy peasy, right? I'm young.
Yeah.
And this one give me $50, $60. I never
Mm-hmm.
understood. Ain't nothing free. And she walking away. I'm like, no, I was raised right enough by this time. No, Chief, you cool. You know how many
Yeah.
times I done got caught on something and should have been kicked out? Like, no, let me do this. Like
Right.
it was life lessons more so than just education itself. It was
Yeah.
education with
You
life. Yeah.
remember our gas station trips?
Gas station trips. I'm gonna tell you what stick out the most to me because I used to be able to go with Drake because Drake was her right hand man at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to pretty much tell him and go to certain places, but I'm gonna tell you what do stick out. The
Mm-hmm.
college tour.
Oh,
And I'm two
yeah.
times in,
Yeah.
2 times in with the college tour.
Okay.
One as just, oh wow, that again, iPhone agrees with me. I have to remember sometimes, side note, that this iPhone thing, you can't, I talk with
Make
my
certain
hands, so when
hand gestures.
I'm throwing balloons and shit, like I wasn't trying to do that. But look, I remember going once as just a scholar, enjoying the trip, and then I became president.
Mm-hmm.
Chief would make me every college we went to, whoever was our host, our tour guide, and took us. By the time we got to their auditorium, it was up to me to thank them
Yep.
on behalf of the whole school.
I still do that.
To this day, part of my charisma is built from that. So where right
Yes.
now I have a show where I bring people here just because I want to talk to you, and a lot of people don't mind talking to Fleazy. I'm telling you, I got that
Yeah.
from that. I had a part of it, but they molded. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's just something. But I get to rambling, but no, we are not getting past. Please tell me, break down how did Red Summer become founding chief of the National Hip Hop Museum? Not only just the National Hip Hop Museum, but it's in the nation's capital. Please
Absolutely.
give me the breakdown. How did we get there?
So I'll go back. Let me go back to the gas station trips.
Oh yes,
So
please,
I
please.
am a young teacher. I am not making any money working as a teacher. I have 2 young children, and on every other Friday, on payday Friday, I would pack all my Coastal Click in the car. We would listen to rhymes, and we would
Yo,
ride to
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yo,
to
I
go
just
get
I
So I
just
would fill up my tank. I would drop everybody off at home, and we would listen to rap, like whatever rhymes y'all wanted to share with me. If y'all wanted to rap, whatever it was, y'all would do that in the car when we get to the gas station, because we raised by Chief Wright. So somebody got to go in and pay for the gas. Somebody got to pump the gas. Somebody would like wash the windshields or something like that. I don't know how y'all broke up the,
oh my God.
but y'all would
Mr.
share all of y'all rhymes with me.
Whoa, how did I forget that?
Yeah.
What the? Whoa, yes, I didn't. But shout out to my brother, Blog Legend 7. It's not that
Yeah.
I didn't remember. I didn't
That's
recall.
okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't recall. I absolutely, again.
Yeah.
Now look, do y'all believe that this is the instructor of a 42-year-old? Look at her. Like, I need, whatever you taking, if you got to DM me it, that's fine. I'll keep the secret. But I'm telling telling y'all, this is my history professor.
Yeah.
One of the two. I've only had two. You and
Yeah.
shouts out to Sunni Ali.
Right. So from that, I ended up starting the poetry rap club on campus, which is called Verbal Remedies.
Okay.
And Verbal Remedies kind of, I can't say kind of, Verbal Remedies was my lifeline. Like when I left Chicago and I was on tour as a poet, I used Verbal Remedies as my publishing company, as my youth empowerment company, and I would travel from from city to city, going to schools and doing poetry and working with kids on their rhymes under that moniker, Verbal Remedies.
Yeah.
When I got to Atlanta and I decided, okay, I'm going to stay here, and brought the children, got everybody set up, I would do workshops and different things. And I would hear from young rap artists just across the country. And I would work with poets and writers. And it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I graduate from graduate school, my master's from Georgia State. And it was I was in a situation where I was experiencing educational abuse, right?
Mm.
I'm the only Black person in my program, and it was obvious that they had a serious disdain for me.
Oh wow.
Like they didn't try to hide it. Like even my professor who had a Black husband, like let me know that I was not about to be like it was giving all that energy. And
You
she's
say this
my
is in
advisor.
Georgia.
This is in Georgia.
Oh wow.
So I'm on my panel. So you have to present your research and you have to defend your research in order to graduate. I'm on my panel. I'm showing everything that I've done for the time that I've been in this program. And I'm saying, like, I deserve to graduate. They said, that one professor said, well, what do you plan to do with the museum studies degree? And it was important because in the time that I was in this program, they had not given me an internship. They had not allowed me through the school to participate in any of the things that would qualify you to work in a museum after that, right? You have to have experience. You can't just have an education, right?
Okay.
They knew that they had blocked me from all of the opportunities to have the experience that I needed to get a job in a museum. So, well, what do you even plan to do with this degree? And I said, I think I want to open a museum dedicated to hip hop. And I just sat there and everybody was mad uncomfortable and they kind of shifted in their seats and they like, who does she think she is?
Right.
What are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Like that was not a thing. It didn't exist.
No, I
Was
know.
it was an impossibility, right? I
Yeah.
could not have a job at a hip hop museum because there was
Yeah.
none. Well, I came to DC and I met some hip hop heads and some people who, one particular brother, shout out to Jeremy Beaver, he owned Listen Vision Recording Studio. It's the longest running hip hop dedicated recording studio in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
He had been collecting items over the years of running the studio. And he was looking for somebody to help him put together an exhibit or organize the stuff that he had, collected over the years
Right.
to show it in some kind of way. We talked, and he has another brilliant, phenomenal scholar on the team, COB, who had already been coaxing him in making it a museum. When I came, it was just like the staple in the paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we
That was the
solidified
final
the
piece.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were able to open up a museum. It took us 30 days. Every day after work, I would go into the studio and pull everything out. And I took the objects and I made it an exhibit. So the concept was to make it a mobile museum that we could take to different places.
Oh.
And so our first exhibit was supposed to be for 30 days. It kept getting extended to 90 days.
Right.
And so we have now an exhibit. Well, we have an art gallery in DC that we keep an exhibit open all year. So that's at the House of Hip Hop. It's on the top level of the recording studio. Of course, the studio closed down during COVID, but we've been able to keep that space alive and keep the history of that space alive because we keep an art exhibit open in the House of Hip Hop. So we're right across the street from Howard University. That is a space that has been active in the community as a hip hop space for over 20 years. So it was
Yeah.
important to keep that space active. And then we also send parts of the exhibit out to other museums who want to include hip hop history in whatever they're doing.
So you're literally setting a trend. You've set a trend. You're bringing life back into something that I'm telling you, I will never see it obsolete. I don't think no one is
Mm.
enough to make it obsolete.
Yeah.
But we're antique in a way. We're antiques now. They got dust on us. Like this is you know what I mean? It's just it's not the same, man. Okay. So
And
now
then
we're
I would even
here.
challenge you on that. I would challenge you on that. If you are in a space where you feel like all of the hip hop that you have access to is trash, you need to change where you're getting your hip hop from. There are still people all over this country who are spitting fire, right?
Oh
There
no,
are
I'm
people all over
not
this country
saying
who
that.
got lyrics,
Yeah,
right? And when you
yeah.
surround yourself with people who are bringing that kind of heat, like then you can't even have the mentality. Like even when I hear, I believe it. Like I know what you're talking about when they like hip hop is dead, like it's gone to the wolves. And I get where you're coming from, but not over there. Have you
Mhm.
heard, you know what I'm saying? Such and such artist, have you heard? Right? Are you putting yourself in the position where you are still being exposed? Like I got the hottest rappers in my school and I put them in the car with me and I made them spit. Right?
No, and you know what? That is the truth. And I do. What I mean by that is hip hop. I never saw hip hop becoming a cult thing. You know what I
Mm,
mean? That was coming up. That was an alternative thing. You know what I mean? A rock artist that spit a verse on his joint, and you like, okay, and he using, I never saw this day to where
mhm.
hip hop is like, yeah, I know about, and of course I know, yeah, because one is, come on, man, you said the scholars. I just had Johnny Arthur last week on here. When I tell you, I told him I know him as Jay Bake still, and he's
Yeah,
still baking. He's still baking. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just as far as the forefront, we were the forefront at one point,
yeah.
and the forefront now is nothing like what I remember.
But
I mean,
you
times
control
change. I
the
get.
algorithm. You control your algorithm, right?
Mm,
And so
yeah,
you
absolutely.
find the artists who are doing what you like their stuff, comment, play it 5 times, let them get some spin so that they can be encouraged to do more because that's the only way that you change the positioning of the artist that you like to the forefront. They can't be mainstream if they don't have any streams. So play their music on Tidal, play it on the streaming networks, whatever, SoundCloud, wherever they are. Make sure that you don't even have to listen to it. When Lolo drop a track, I listen to it the first time, I get feedback, and then I play it on low while I'm at work
Yeah,
and get
just to
her
let
them
it get the
spins. You
spin.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's real.
And I
That's
do that
real.
for Lolo. I do it for my own. I do it for Avery. He's the singer from the middle college. Like Brand, like everybody who sends their stuff to me, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna love on you, and I'm gonna let you get as many spins as I can get.
Yeah,
Right. And so
yeah,
if we start doing that, we can change the trajectory. Right now, it's a numbers game. So we spent so much of our time listening to Drake and Kendrick this last week, and I'm for it.
yeah,
I'm all for the athleticism of the sport, right? Because I understand the history of where battle rap comes from. in the culture itself, right? So I'm for that. I don't like when we are careless and we allow this to go to a place that has the possibility to take our artists from us. One of my students said the other day, like, is this what y'all felt like when Pac and Biggie were battling? And that gave me pause for a second,
Yeah.
because we didn't have Pac or Biggie long after that. And so
Yeah.
and so knowing like where this has the possibility to go to, I am nervous about that part, but I love the athleticism of the sport. Like, I love a good battle. Like, I love seeing people be brilliant and be funny and create these storylines on stuff and like get their jabs in, and like I love all of that. However, there's a lot of other things that are happening in the world right now, and we can't let that completely overshadow it. We understand that anytime you have things like that, is to take your attention off of. We completely stop talking about these children being beaten by the police on their school campuses. We completely stop talking about all of these children being bombed in their sleep in the Sudan, in Gaza, and all of the places. Like, we completely overlooked that because we were entertained, right? But, and as much as I love that, we also have to know when to check back in on what's really important and give that our time and our attention as well, right? And I brought that up to say that they now have both of their past albums, which were lackluster in spins, right? They were not considered hit records. Both of those albums are now off the charts, right? Because people went back to listen to the songs and they started playing it and they started to try to figure out what the reference was to and all of that. So that was a brilliant positioning for those two artists. And I pray that it ends there and that they're able to move forward with the success that they now have with the money that they just made. Let's do that for Mumu Fresh. Right? Let's do that for other young artists who are trying to establish themselves with a real message that makes us feel good as a people. Let's go. Let's all go. Right? And listen to their music for 3 days straight. Imagine how that will change people's lives. Imagine how that will change the game, because we are in control of it at this point. We don't have to wait for a record label to tell us who is the hot new artist. We make the hot new artist every day, every time we on this phone and we click a video. So if
It's been
everybody
like that for a
on
while
your phone
now.
is trash, that's because you listening to trash rap. Step your game up, friend.
Again, I stand correct. When you're right, you're right. What can I say? What can I say? Now, Miss Summer, I am going to so take advantage to be on this side to be able to talk to you and have a conversation where I get to ask some questions that I've always wanted to know.
Okay.
One of those questions is, how have and how are you able to separate your personal life with how you spread yourself with what you do?
That's always going to be a challenge, especially for people who have families. Right? Like when you are single in the world and you can just do whatever you want to, like that, you like your whole life is whatever it is that you do. When you have a family, like, you also have to make space for yourself to be split in half, right? When you have like myself, I, especially in the fall, I will be teaching at Howard in the morning. I'll be teaching high school in the afternoon, and then I'll be going to school in the evening, and then I have to come home to my family, right?
Damn.
And you will not always do well by all four of them,
Mm.
right? I will not even pretend to say that I've been excellent at of them at all times.
Right.
No, there are times that my house fell to the wayside while I was focusing on something. There's times where I completely neglect the work because I'm dealing with things at home, right? I think the biggest thing is to give yourself grace, um, to be as organized as you can, in order to kind of prioritize or think through like what are some possible things that could happen. I really stress with my son to like think through a worst case scenario so that you can be prepared for it, and just really figuring out like what the priority is. Like that's something that we got in, in our upbringing, our shared upbringing. Like you cannot live a double life. Like
No.
one is going to take over the other. And so there's a lot of times where you have to make tough choices. There's a lot of times where, like, my children knew from very young, mama got to go.
Yeah.
But they also knew mommy's coming back. Right. And
No, that's
so,
real.
yeah, like I needed to go. I was on tour for months at a time. Like I needed to go get this so that I could bring it back and be better for them and for myself. Like you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're not doing the things that make you feel accomplished and like you're using the gifts that you were brought here with, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to get to the end and be like, whew, well, this is empty.
Yeah.
Use all that. Right? And so you're not going to be able to please everybody.
Yeah.
Like hopefully you can have conversations and people will understand, even like I am responsible for my mother now. And I know you and your relationship with your mom and how
Yes.
important that is, and so when you are in that position to care for them and to to stand in that space and give that back, right? That's valuable, important time, and you might have to let some other stuff go in order to serve in that manner, right? And I know I'm preaching to the choir.
And then you see my face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna say I dream big, but it's not that. I am open to doing things that have not been done before. And so that always creates a sense of uncertainty. It always creates a sense of, and I'm going to say fear, right? Because you have a fear of the unknown, right? It was dope to send a postcard of the graffiti on the side of the building that said National Hip Hop Museum to my professors who thought I couldn't do it.
I
Right.
swear, I know that felt great. Oh, I
But
know that felt great.
there was also time and I'm like, was that stupid to say? Like,
Oh, who's in?
yeah,
Yours?
I'm saying on my, like, before that was a thing, before I met with the people who were in alignment with me with this word that I spoke, right, to the universe, like before I made that connection, like you will still have doubt, like it was that crazy to say. I'm gonna open a hip hop museum. Who does that? You know people that open museums? Ain't nobody opening museums from my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from 63rd and Cottage Grove, friend.
Listen to me. At the same time, in that same breath, we are also the originators of the original shit. So while you say that, I'm looking at it just like, look, when I found out who Carl Kanai was, and they
Yeah.
had big sizes,
Yeah.
I was the first big boy with the Carl Kanai jean outfit. Oh, they got
Yeah.
these in 4X. I was a 3-4X back then. No, I wasn't paying no. That was a pretty penny. So
Yeah.
I am not surprised when you look at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is the originator. You're gonna look. We didn't have so many falls. You can't really threaten us with a well, what are you gonna do with this? So even you sharing that story, I knew the response before you told me.
Hmm.
Like I knew it was like, oh, you want to get Red Summer to do some makeup, man? Tell her she can't. You want to do that?
Absolutely.
Make her mad. Tell her she can't. That's all you got to do. Well,
Yeah,
you
I
gonna
thought
do
the
this?
dope sister that popped on Emerald, like seeing the work that this queen is able to do in the community and what she is accomplishing for the, like nobody would have been able to predict like the idea that she has
Yeah,
and the way that she gets up and she serves her community, like that is, it's divine revelation and you just move in it. I'm sure like every time she goes out to do her work, it's not like everything is not always in order, right? It's not, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you got to do it scared, you got to do it dirty, you got to do it hungry, you got to do it sleepy, like you got to
yeah,
do it broke. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Sometimes you really have, you got to do it and everything at home is falling apart, right? And you trying to hold that like you still got to
yeah.
go
You
because
gotta keep going.
I have been learning about the power of an idea, right? I get really good ideas. I get really good ideas. And I will say, "Ooh, somebody should do such and such," right?
Yeah,
Do it while you cry, right? I will say, "Oh, ooh, that would be dope if somebody blah, 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 blah." And I didn't think I was somebody.
mm,
And then I will see the thing that I said somebody should do. I would see it done, knowing that I had the idea 4 years ago,
mm.
and
And the
somebody
hesitation.
could have been
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I
The hesitation.
didn't believe in it. I didn't see it as a thing that I was supposed to be doing or that it was possible for me. Or I don't know anything about running a business, or I don't know anything about making an invention, or I don't know about, right? But who does?
Yeah, yeah,
You learn it while you're doing it. You
yeah,
learn it because you're doing it while you crying,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Shouts out to her. Well, then with that, listen, that you're giving me a great segue because again, I get to ask you the questions. I get to speak to you as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest obstacle, and I mean period, that you have dealt with, and how did you overcome it? I've always wanted to know this because I knew, yeah, come on, man. I already knew about the 63rd. Like I say, 79th was down the street. I'd have been caught
Mm-hmm.
so many times by Miss Summer. It's crazy. So I always wanted to know from up to date thus far, what is the biggest obstacle you could say that you've overcome, and how did you overcome
My biggest obstacle I'm still overcoming, and that's the limitation of my imagination. Yeah.
it? You gotta let it pause when somebody respond with some shit like that.
I
I,
still battle with that because, I could be doing so much more if I believed in the little sprinkling, like the little ideas, like the little, if I believed in 6-year-old Summer,
mm, I feel
right?
that.
If I
I feel
believed
that.
in 6-year-old Summer, if I honored 6-year-old Summer, and I was like, yo, you could still be a rock star, baby. Let's go. You could be an astronaut, right? You
Yeah.
could be like whatever it is that the 6-year-old Summer like had dreamed up and was willing to and wanted to be out of this world, right?
Yeah.
But we start to fall victim to the whispers, like that's gonna be too hard, you don't have enough money for that, you don't have the kind of support you need for that, or you don't have the right people in your life who gonna help you, you know, that's just a dream. That's not, it's not real. It's unrealistic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
those things. And when you when you believe that over a 6-year-old Summer, then yeah, you limited, because we don't even dream those kind of dreams anymore. We don't
Right.
even shoot for those kind of stars like that anymore, and that's a big tragedy.
Yeah.
That's a big tragedy.
I did not expect that answer. You still showed the Teflon that you do not let anything that has happened to you be a major factor. And that's
Mm,
something I've always remembered, and I can say that as an adult now. Again, I there were things I knew, and I knew you were going through things, but it never showed.
mm,
It never showed. You saw it, you saw it. That it is what it
yeah.
is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If you've seen it, damn, that's what it is. But I mean, I never, I never saw it at the home front. It was never
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to even be able to have this type of conversation with you, because like I say, I'm looking at you with different eyes.
Hmm.
These are different eyes. It's like they used to be this, and now I
Yeah.
can look at you face to face and still have that feeling
Hmm.
that I had when I was doing that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So salute to you with that, man. If that is your biggest obstacle, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment thus far? And then I got three more for you, and then I'm gonna let you go. I ain't gonna hold you.
My biggest accomplishment is the effect that I have on the people who trust me. Like the number of people who I have affected positively, the number of people who say like you said something to me that has stayed with me, it sustained me in my life, or you taught me this thing that has changed the way I look at the world. I had a former scholar or a forever scholar
Yeah,
who
for
said that, like, I gave him his paper back and told him, I know you can do better than this. And that changed the way that he did school from then on. He's in Haiti right now doing cancer research using the
wow.
almond leaf, right,
Yeah.
to affect cancer cells. Because I told him in high school, I know you can do better than that, right? I don't
Challenge.
remember this moment,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
so glad I said it.
yeah,
Because this man is gonna help all
yeah,
of us, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so being able to have that kind of effect on people, I walked up to a student today. She didn't even know what I was. I'm sorry. I know I did such and so and so, the blah 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 blah. I didn't even know what had really happened. I was talking about why you went in class today, right? And she told me all the stuff. It was like, I know I did wrong. I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna blah blah blah. Okay, well, you better.
Like that's right. Like you play right with a yeah, that's right. You do that.
Exactly. And so when you are I do not take for granted that everybody in my building does not have that type of relationship with the students in there, right? I do not take for granted that every teacher that you've ever had, right,
Yeah,
you're not inviting them on your show, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so knowing that I am able to have a lasting impact on young people who become adults, who become elders, right? That is the gravest responsibility that I have been given.
That's dope. That's dope. Because like I say, I have to keep reiterating how excited I was for you. This wasn't about anything past personal for me. It really was, and I got to mix business with pleasure in a way, because I'm like, yo, I get to what you just said. This is something that in most cases won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You've always been like that with us, though. The connection, there was a respect there. When you were there to a point where when we became adults, it was just like, now you're ready type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's the same with shots out to J. Roy Jones. That was one of the hardest things I had to deal with in hearing.
Yeah.
because that's another one how I feel like you guys caught me in the raw. There was no line to go.
Yeah.
There was no line. And I'm not the type of guy that throws that out there. Oh, I'm from here. I don't do that. But you are one of the few people that know my background.
Hmm.
You know where I come.
Yeah.
You know the and you know that part of what you did instilled this. And shouts out to my brother Block Ledger 7 again, who brung that fire back to where now I do see a purpose. And now I'm going to answer one of those questions you sent me. Oh, you thought I forgot about it. What I chose
Mm-hmm.
was, for one, I like how you said, "What is your villain origin story?" That she know me. Come on, man. All my tattoos are villains. Come on. But you hit me hard with how did you decide that you had a voice that people needed slash deserved to hear? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "You're cheating. You're wrong. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
Why would she hit me with something that?" And again, shouts out to my best friend, Shot Nicky. Shouts out to my brother, my manager, my right hand man, Block Legend 7, who is helping me. I had lost that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason I wanted to share this with you. The answer, honestly, I still haven't decided. I am in full autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
I have come to a point where I am walking in the vision that others see of me because I am learning to gain that vision for myself because it had been lost.
Mm-hmm.
That coastal member you knew, I lost him a long time ago, and that's how Fleazy came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the origin story,
Yeah.
Fleazy was a reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
Fleazy is learning to forgive Vincent, learning
Mm-hmm.
to love the knuckleheadedness of Flash,
Yeah.
and becoming comfortable in my roots, which is Jones, which is the mother side of my family.
Yeah.
So I had to, as I wrapped up the show, I said, she don't even think I'm a look at these, but I knew better than to not do. You ain't gonna be
Yeah.
hitting my DM snapping on me. I still know how this go. And I got stuff to do later. I don't have
Right.
time to be dealing with the headache. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that. And what made you ask that?
Well, I looked at the questions that you had for me,
Hmm.
and I knew that I know you, and I knew that you wanted more from me, but you maybe from a place of respect, you wanted to keep it, on the up and up, like on the level. And I
Hmm.
wanted you to know that I trust you, that I believe in what you're doing and the platform that you're creating. I don't think that you are going to be irresponsible with your opportunity to have the ear of the people. And even as you grow in this experience, like just take that as an offering from me on where you can start the questioning from, right? Um, think about what it is that you really need to know for you, right? And start your questioning there. Create your show in a way that gives you the answers to the questions that you really have, right? And you don't really want to know just like my career, like my resume. Like what you really want to know is how I got over, right? What you really want to know is like how to keep going. What you really want to know is how to win the battles that you're fighting, and you're not gonna get the answer from me with the questions that you ask. And so I'm still a teacher, you know, at the end of the day. And I know you grown,
Yeah,
but I also know that we have the relationship and the mutual respect
yeah,
that I can still guide you in this way.
yes, yes. That, you know what? And my best friend just said, you don't even know what that means to me. You pegged me. You hit it hard. That's that. I wish I want to disagree with you badly. I do. I cannot. I
Yeah.
cannot. But don't think I didn't have it on reserve just in
Hmm.
case.
Yeah.
So let me end it the right way. What did you do to be a rose that grew out of concrete? I mean, I'm talking from the person that was the mother of my own destiny, which is one of my favorite fucking names ever. That name is so fucking slick. It's just okay. Focus. You made some real changes, Summer. How
Mm-hmm.
did you do it and still keep going? I did homework. I seen some
Mm-hmm.
things to all the way down to who you are with now, who has your heart, your partner.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get through that knowing the upbringing you were on?
Mm-hmm.
I know you have the name that I didn't say out of pure respect because you
Yeah.
said we from a hood, man. You live in respect. You have to, or you
Mm-hmm.
can lose it. Once you lose respect, you're dead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to know because I'm like, yo, reading articles and I'm just like, yo, she stood tall because the pictures and the paintings that we see, you don't know any of this happened. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to know how did that happen? How did you get through that and still come out the way you came out? Because man, you shining hard as hell.
Thank you.
Nah, for
Um,
real.
how did I become a rose? You don't have a choice. Like you bloom where you're planted. Right? I was given what I needed. I had it. Right? I was given what I needed. I got the sunlight, I got the rain. I got
Yeah.
both of them, and that you need both to grow. Like
Yeah.
we complain about the rain, right? But we ain't complaining when we eat. Right?
Nah, that's real.
And so um that comes with it. That comes with life. And as long as you are here and you're on a journey, like if you are living a life where you have absolutely no problems, no troubles, nothing
Need to
that you're
pinch yourself.
overcoming, you sitting in your chair.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You're not moving.
at
Like
all.
and there are certain things that, and I will say to you, like, I appreciate that you are taking on the journey of getting your life and taking control of your life. I know that is difficult. Like, you have
Yeah,
a lot of habits and patterns and beliefs about who you are and how you can be on this planet that you have to uproot and let go of and really destroy in order to live. And I love you, and I'm so happy that you are doing those things, because if you do decide to take this further and you grow your audience to a place where you are having the interviews that you want to have, and you're having the conversations that you want to have, if you are not here to do that, all of that is gone. Right?
yeah,
And so taking that choice and honoring yourself and who you have been placed here to be is the most beautiful gift, right? And so you already have the soil, you have the sun, and you have the rain, right? All you got to do is push through. Right? Come out of the dark, push through to the light, and just keep going. Right? And so it's still going to be hard. That weather's still going to change. It's like all of the parts of the analogy, like all of that will be there, right? But just keep going up.
yeah. Listen, I'm cool. No, I'm cool. What? No, I just pushed like 4 dudes before we did the show today. I let them know. I let them know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Ah,
I'm gonna go punch something after this.
that- yeah. Just to let you know it's real. Last question. When it comes to anything in your journey thus far, would you change anything that you've done?
Mm. So that's a interesting question for me because like everything that happened gets you to where you are now, right? Would I like to see what other possibilities could have arisen had I made different choices? Sure. I'm not ashamed of or upset about any of the choices that I made. I take responsibility for that, and I'm ready to take that information that I gather from that experience and use it to push me to the next place that I'm going. I'm not even ashamed of or upset about what was done to me, right? Because I also can use that as information to move me to a new place, like to a higher place. I see Corey B and Billy Boy on here, like the things that I have seen both of them go through and come out on the other side being amazing and shining, right? That's just all the more motivation is such a weak word. I feel like right now, like that's just like the fertilizer to my own garden, right? I see so many people who I love who are in this struggle, in this fight too, to make something beautiful from the lives that they have. And I just want to be in that number, right? Because I also can make a different choice, right? I can be with the ones who gave up. I could be in that number with. I saw a sister when I was driving home today. She had that lean going on where you are trying to figure out like how aerodynamically are you still like
Yeah,
kind of standing, right? And
yeah.
the escapism that is in, taking that kind of a drug in order to get away from what happened, right? I don't want to need to get away so bad that I place myself in more of harm's way, right? So I can take those things that occurred. I can take that and we have different things that we call them, right? But the negative experiences in life, like I can take those, I can learn from them, I can help somebody else, right? I can push somebody else along with me who has had that same experience or something to that effect, or I can just give a hug or give a smile or give a nod or just show some love to somebody who is also struggling, and we can get through it together. I'm not magic, right? But I love real good. Like,
You
and
say
so
you're not magic, and please pardon the interruption, but I have to be real. I have to be real. Summer, you come from concrete, and in the midst of your journey, they tried, they tried to take you there.
mm,
I don't like some of the things I saw. I don't. I have to be honest when I say that. But I ride with you regardless because you never done anything in malice, and because you made a choice, um, they tried to go there. How do you not see the eyes, or how do you ignore the eyes with just a choice that you made? What you did was not harming anybody. Again, I do not like what I saw. And
mm.
because you brung that out of me, um, I just want to know how did you get through that? They tried to put you in a picture that I guarantee you I stand next to a gang of scholars that will never see that picture ever.
Mm.
How did you get through that?
um I got people like you. I got people that love me and that feed me and that sustain me. I have family. I have a beautiful community. I have um I have information like the stories that Miss Jones had me reading were about
Yeah.
overcomers, right? They
Yeah.
were about people who persevered. They were about people who had dignity and diligence and decency and who were able to like just master the circumstances. Like when we read Strength to Love, when we read Letters from a Birmingham Jail, when we read Jazz, when we read Sula, those were all people who looked like me who overcame the circumstances. Well, when I know that it's possible, then I don't have to feel like all of those things that are happening can break me. Like people have been talked about. You ain't gonna whip my ass.
Right. Let's start there. That was never a question at all. Right.
So
Right. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not too big for criticism. I'm not too big for people to question. I'm not too big for people to to not get it, you know. And if you come to me and you come with love and compassion, I'll explain it to you. If you come and you got beef with it, then we gonna
Right.
eat.
We ain't got
Like
it
let's
right. We ain't got to talk. We don't talk.
see.
Some people don't know how to argue. Shots after shot.
But I also got words.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people I don't think that people who attack other people in that way do it because they really believe like you're a bad person or like I don't think that. I think
Okay.
people are used to being put down, and so when they have an opportunity to do it to someone else, they jump on the opportunity. I see that from a place of compassion. I see that from a place of understanding, like, oh, Tink Tink.
Right. See, and that's what I mean by Teflon. Like that, I'm angry. I don't care if I agree with it, if I'm not a part of it. When once you show me you don't do things in malice, you're not pushing narrative. There are some people that push narratives. I'm not
Mhm.
with that. You know what I mean? Like what you do is what you do, but don't ever try to discredit a person because of what they do unless they are trying to push a narrative. And that's what I mean. Like, yo, that was just a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. And what? You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
to not even say the name, I'm thinking I can't. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
thinking this Red Summer is deeper than what you explained to me. And I was actually able to, oh, okay, well, that was a wholesome story. You know what I mean? But I just know you never had it easy. Shouts out to my brother Block Legend 7. He say it all the time. You've never had it easy. And that was just something so major. And I'm like, yo, to have that and then still turn around like, oh, and I'm going to get my PhD. Make sure you come to the museum next week. We're having a special. You will
Right.
enjoy it.
Lolo,
Like, this
you
is
missed your shout
crazy.
out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So I have to salute you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I was able to ask that and say that freely because you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. It's from a place of love. It's not it's just wanting to know. You know what I mean? I don't care who you love. I don't. I don't. You're
Mhm.
gonna forever. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are to me now. It's Red Summer. It's just okay. The name change. That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Oh, Red Summer. Now, fool, still the same person, man. So I can't thank
Absolutely.
you enough, man. My final question to you for tonight, and we will get out of here, is with everything that's going on now. You got the museum popping, it's booming. Now you're going to further your education. You are still educating the youth. What is next for Red Summer, and what is the end goal if it is one?
Oh, so I don't have an end goal
Oh,
yet. And
okay.
that goes back to what we discussed before because I didn't even know
That
like that
this
a
was
hip
going
hop
to happen.
museum right
Yeah,
was going to be a thing, right? So
yeah.
I definitely want to be a part of growing the industry. I want to be a part of having hip hop as a major in major universities. I want to be a part of that movement. there are some things that are coming out, like information wise, that is so mind blowing. Like we have uncovered the true story, the true meaning of the term hip hop, like the actual origins of
Yeah.
it, right? And so it's like highly contested, and people like debate, and they, battle about what it would like. Being able to be in the institution that like got the information and is poised to share that story, finding all those other kind of stories like that, making sure that our history, our people's contributions to the world are documented, are preserved, are here for generations beyond our own lifetimes
Yeah.
to be able to see and study and understand, right? I'm teaching at Duke Ellington School, right? There were times when jazz was seen as too obscene, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
be a course of study. And now people are like, I could see if it was jazz in the colleges, but hip hop, no, right?
Yeah.
And so we got to still fight that fight, because every time people from our community make a contribution, we always have to fight so hard for it to be accepted and seen as rigorous, and seen as valuable, and seen as important of a contribution to society. And if I can have a part of making sure that our people's story is preserved in whatever way that works, I'm willing to do that. I'm right now working with the work that I do for hip hop, but I'm also working with telling the story of the other 3 little Black girls who integrated New Orleans schools on the same day with Ruby Bridges, and we never even heard about these little girls.
Talk about,
Ruby Bridges is now how old, right? There were
yeah.
3 other girls who integrated schools with her on that day, and they have been erased from history. And so my students and I have been uncovering this story and doing the research on it. And we went to New Orleans to meet the ladies, and they're coming to DC to meet with our students again on the anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education. That what is it called? Just the judgment on that. And so there are so many stories. Like, as much as I love hip hop and I'm down for hip hop, like, our people's stories are so important, and they are so vast, and so there are so many of them that we've never even thought about. Even the painting from Norman Rockwell that everybody sees, and we immediately think that that's Ruby Bridges, that's Linda Jean Gunn, right? And so we don't even know the story of the
Yeah.
girl who was actually in that painting, right? So there are all of these other stories that are there of small things, big things, like important, impactful things that our people have done, that I also want to have a hand in telling those stories as well.
I don't see no better way than to drop it just like that. She keeps going. Look, first of all, I'm going to be 80 and she's still going to look like this. And I'm grateful for my 42. I'm just getting the salt and pepper. I
Yeah.
ain't mad. I'm not mad, but damn. Thank you,
You get
Red
on.
Summer.
I love you, boy.
I'm
Thank you
still
so
the
much for
same. No
having
change.
me.
Listen, I can't thank you enough, man. This was awesome. I don't want this to be the only time you come here.
I'll come back.
There's so much more that is going to be happening. There are so many subjects that we could discuss together, man. This is just thank you. Thank you is an understatement, but I got no better words.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful, 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 grateful. And I'm grateful to everybody that tuned in today and stuck with us, man. So thank you for tuning in to the Logic Lounge with Fleazy Jones, episode 77. I got Red Summer in the lounge, yo. Like, I'm leaving it there. Any final words before we get out of here, Red Summer?
You are the quintessence of excellence.
Yeah, damn it, Summer, you cheating. You cheating. Yeah, I'm cool. I knew yeah, for sure. Thanks. It's whatever. It's whatever or whatever. But no, thank you. It's because of you, and we are just excited to see what else happens for you, man. But we're gonna get out of y'all hair. And I'm gonna end it how I always ended Red Summer. I tell them like this. I tell them living off good instinct counts. So always keep your logic. We love
Mm.
y'all. Peace and blessings. I'll see you.